Good afternoon, good evening. I'm very pleased to welcome you to the Balance for Blind Adults 2025 Annual Public Meeting. And this is a great opportunity for the board and staff to provide you, our clients, and the public with an update on the past year's exciting accomplishments and new developments, and to take a few questions from you at the end. I just want to let everyone know that we are recording the session for our YouTube channel and for social media. And before we get started, I'm pleased to turn over to Lizna, our board member, who is going to start the meeting with our land acknowledgement.
Thanks, Robin. We at Balance for Blind Adults respectfully acknowledge that we operate and are currently meeting on the traditional territories of many nations, including the Mississaugas of the Credit, the Anishinaabe, the Chippewa, and the Haudenosaunee and the Wendat people. This land remains a home, a gathering place, a travel route for many diverse First Nations, Inuit, and Métis people. We also acknowledge that the Toronto is covered by Treaty 13, signed with the Mississaugas of the Credit, and the Williams Treaty, signed with multiple Mississaugas and the Chippewa bands. In the spirit of reconciliation and gratitude for those who first occupied these lands, we offer our thanks for the histories, language, and traditions that continue to influence us today. Balance's work with blind adults Canadians stems from a long history of marginalization and inequity. Today, our work is guided by the values of inclusion, respect, empathy, trust, and independence. We share some of this history with and extend our values to members of Canada's Indigenous communities. By living and practicing these values each day, we hope both to honor and forge new connections with all residents and creatures of Turtle Island and beyond.
Thank you very much, Lizna. Okay, so I'm going to move on now, and it's both an honor and a privilege to introduce our esteemed speaker for this year's annual public meeting, a person whom we all know well and whose career and values are deeply aligned with the mission of Balance for Blind Adults. On the occasion of her retirement and after 10 years of dedicated leadership as CEO at Balance, we recognize and honor a truly remarkable leader who has been steadfast as an advocate, an educator, and a leader in the field of disability inclusion for over 4 decades. Dr. Deborah Gold began her journey in 1981 during the International Year of Disabled Persons, working on a pioneering summer inclusion project supporting multi-disabled children here in Toronto. That early commitment set the course for a career marked by passion, innovation, and unwavering dedication. With a PhD in social policy and disability, Deborah has contributed extensively as an academic, a consultant, and a change maker. And for the past 25 years, her work with CNIB and beyond has focused specifically on enhancing the lives of individuals with vision loss, advocating for their needs, and supporting their families and communities. And today, as she prepares to enter the next chapter of her life, we have the privilege of hearing from her once more as today's keynote speaker. Over to you, Deborah. Deborah, you're on mute.
Classic Zoom moment. Thank you, Robin, for that lovely, and we were planning to challenge everyone to read my lips. For that lovely introduction. I'll touch back on a few of the things that you talked about. Good afternoon, everyone. As our world faces all kinds of threats on multiple levels, it can feel almost inconsequential to comment on my own small and very personal perspective in my own very small sphere of influence. But I've always believed that we can change the whole world with exactly this kind of work. So speaking about it seems fitting and perhaps in some way hopeful and helpful. When I applied for the position of executive director at the time at Balance almost a decade ago, I was immediately attracted to an organization that believed its clients truly were at the center of its work, that community engagement could be facilitated, and that people with visual disabilities could receive support to be full and active participants in their own futures and in all that their communities had to offer. I saw a small organization with a solid foundation and philosophy around equity and inclusion of people with disabilities. It was a great match for my own philosophy and my professional passion from the beginning of my career. Balance and me. I could see we would be a good fit. Excuse me. Looking back over my professional journey, I see two major themes consistently re-emerging throughout my working life, and perhaps you'll identify with them yourselves. One, inclusion of people with disabilities in the regular life of communities is perhaps what one might call a content theme, the thing that makes the most sense, that has the power to change lives, and in the end means everything to healthy communities as well as to the individuals themselves. The other is instrumental to my success, the success of organizations like Balance, and to all staff and board teams everywhere. And this theme too means a great deal to me. Leadership and leadership development, for me, yes, but also for those who have reported to me over the years, because a good leader makes all the difference to any team. Let's start with the first theme, the social inclusion of people with disabilities in everyday activities of the community, work, school, leisure, life. Because of this theme, I'm what you'd call an ally. I don't have a disability, at least not a permanent one, but I consider myself somebody who has stood by and with people who have them since I was about 16 years old. So before my career path actually got started, I began in the field of recreation. What better place to facilitate inclusion? My first real job was as a day camp counselor, like so many people, had started with summer work for the city of Kitchener, and I loved it. I was learning how to be a leader and having fun in nature every single day. It was a great match. And I met my first child with a disability there, remembering I was 16, so pretty much close to a child myself. My job being to ensure he was included in all of the activities of my group. I had 2 weeks to make sure that inclusion was real and no training, no books, no research, just a belief by the camp director that I could do it. I don't remember how I was selected for this interesting new challenge or if it was just the luck of the draw, but I was lucky. I loved it. The challenge of helping other kids to include this child in their activities. And here's the thing we often forget in this field, something that people doing what's now called DEI and A work now know, something that academics in social policy and disability have known for a long time and wrote about back in the 80s, something that Judith Snow and others in the Circles of Friends movement taught, and what everyone knows who's part of an inclusive community. Non-disabled people want to be accepting. Our job as allies, advocates, and facilitators is simply to set up inclusive opportunities and get out of the way. I marked the beginning of my actual career in this field, as Robin mentioned, with the year 1981, the International Year of Disabled Persons. How fitting. Canada celebrated this occasion with the publication of the Obstacles Report. Yes, it was a time when we were very focused on barriers. I think I still have a copy in a box somewhere. Computers existed, but there was no internet yet. And we were 13 years away from seeing the first smartphone. So that's right. A report about the barriers facing people with disabilities in Canada was published in hard copy only, and yes, with lots of photographs, completely inaccessible to people with print and visual disabilities. The irony doesn't escape us now, but like so many other achievements of their time, we only know in retrospect how far we had to go. The summer of 1981, I worked for 4 months on a federally funded program to include children with multiple disabilities in their local recreation opportunities here in Toronto, also mentioned by Robin. Graduating with an undergrad degree in drama, and not at all sure what I would do with that, even though I loved it. And with this incredibly impactful summer experience in downtown Toronto, I was inspired to apply for the master's program in recreation and leisure studies at the University of Waterloo, with a focus on disability and inclusion. I had the great good fortune to work with phenomenal professors, Peggy Hutchison and John Ward there, to whom I'm so grateful for opening my eyes further regarding social justice and people with disabilities. Peggy's passion was friendships between people with disabilities and those without. In 1982, I was hired back at Kitchener's Parks and Recreation Department as their Leisure Buddy program coordinator, a brand new program where I was responsible for matching young people without disabilities with children with a disability so they could fully participate in all of Kitchener's summer programs. I've since coordinated volunteers full-time for the Recreation Department at Holland Bloorview, taught inclusive recreation principles at the University of Manitoba, and completed a doctorate, as some of you know, in social policy and disability at Syracuse University. My thesis focused on constructed friendship groups for children with a developmental disability. I've thought a lot about the feeling I get when communities of any size or type, and no matter how you define them, accept, adapt for, and accommodate a person with a disability. When differences of the body, mind, and spirit are not the most important thing about the person. When children, youth, and adults can find common ground, no matter their differences. When doors are opened, access is made equal and equitable, and people can connect and learn from each other. Because everyone is included. The script says that I don't know how to name this feeling, but clearly I get moved. It's a great feeling. After concluding my doctoral studies and some years of post-secondary teaching, I took a job at CNIB in the year 2000. Except for the 1981 summer position where one of the children was blind, I'd never worked with or even met anyone who was blind before. But I loved my work immediately. The people I worked with, the field of vision rehabilitation as a whole, my colleagues, the clients I met, and the professional opportunities it afforded me were all excellent. While I started as National Children's Coordinator, I was lucky to have an incredibly kind, funny, and supportive boss. And because she and the then Vice President, Jim Sanders, supported my ideas, I was able to start writing successful grants with the federal government and quickly developed CNIB's first social research unit based on these monies. It was also the first of its kind in our country, a research department dedicated to better understanding the lives of blind people, the people we were serving, and feeding the knowledge back into the program development across the nation. We developed resources for parents, teachers, and other professionals. Through our 2005 study, An Unequal Playing Field, which we repeated in 2011, we documented people's needs and shared our findings in Ottawa to try and shift the needle of social policy. We reported on many continuing disparities, including a terrible rate of employment. That is 35% of blind people had a job of some kind versus 52% for people with any disability. It's changed a bit, but not enough. We also documented the extent to which blind Canadians said that yes, various technologies were now available to them, but they needed much more training on how to use them. Good evidence mattered then, and it matters now. We also did a number of employment studies. And when you look at balance programs today, it's clear that we are attempting to address exactly the challenges I was involved in exploring as a researcher 20 years ago. It was fun to come to a place where I would be responsible for delivering services and use evidence with which I was very familiar to work with my team to shape and strengthen the organization's offerings. To move from research to praxis was an incredible opportunity to explore what was possible and to make possible what we knew, to help solve problems that we knew existed because of what people were telling us. I mentioned leadership development as the other theme that's marked my career. I would hazard a guess that most of us who end our careers in executive leadership roles would say that our development as leaders took place throughout our work experiences. It's just part of the package. For me, it started way back with those day camp counselor experiences. In fact, in children's camping, the other word for counselor is leader. Through all of the opportunities to lead teams over all of my years of work, I've noticed that there is really just one thing, besides being willing to step up and step in, that all good leaders have in common: the ability to listen well to their team members, clients, partners, and others. I'm still learning this skill, but at least I've become good enough with it that my team knows they can bring me new ideas and I will listen. There are many other key skills for sure, but this is the most important one. And for those of you here who want to hear it again, listening is the most important leadership skill there is. And this is what I've learned about why developing great leadership skills in others is important. First, mentorship of others pays dividends because when people have opportunities to learn on the job, they like to come to work. And they too learn to listen, which builds a stronger team. And second, people want to be challenged in their work, not bored. And they deserve opportunities to do more, even if they don't think so at the time. They will rise to the occasion. We found that out of balance. Here's 2 ways I know these things are true. As my dad used to say, the proof is in the pudding. 1, our balance staff team embraces new ideas from me, from each other, and from clients. And 2, The team takes initiative. They design and lead implementing their own ideas. Much of what we are doing at Balance now and what we will do in the next few years under new leadership has been initiated by members of our staff team and simply supported at the executive level. I'm just getting out of the way. I take great pride that I'm leaving the organization with this depth of employee engagement. Since the start of my tenure at Balance, and most especially inspired during the COVID-19 pandemic, we have learned to lean on each other, figured out how to sway with the challenges we've had to face, and been courageous about trying new ways of doing things. Establish a telesupport system during the first year of the pandemic? No problem. Try teaching assistive technology remotely? Sure, let's try that. Actually, that idea was waiting for me when I arrived. Thank you, Doug. It was the pandemic that pushed us to actually implementing. Apply for a grant to teach pre-employment skills? Yes, let's do it. And another, and another. And we got them all. Hire a self-defense expert to teach blind adults, partner with a community health center and community arts group to deliver excellent adaptive programs, build a mental health support specialty, and bring in counselors with lived experience to deliver it? Yes, yes, and yes. Embracing innovation rather than fearing it is, I think, the sign of a strong team. In this day and age, if we can't be nimble and flex to shifting demands and needs, organizations will fail. It's the power of ongoing opportunities for leadership development combined with commitment and passion that resulted in our staff team's selection earlier this year for an award of distinction from the Biana Family Foundation and the United Way Greater Toronto. I'm so proud of what we have been able to achieve together. Back in 2008, I was asked to deliver a keynote address at, wait for it, the International Conference of the Association for Education and Rehabilitation of the Blind and Visually Impaired. It's a mouthful. It's the professional organization for vision rehabilitation in North America. They asked me because I was the first, and as it turned out, the only, editor for a short-lived new journal called Insight. This was the one and only opportunity of my career to speak to a crowd that size, a giant hotel ballroom filled in Chicago, filled with close to hundreds, close to 1,000 people, hundreds of people. My first slide was an image of me bundled up in a bright blue and pink jacket with a knit cap on my head, sailing through the air at the end of a giant bungee cord, not far from Queenstown, New Zealand. I told the story of how I was incredibly nervous, but determined, and how I comically practiced the night before, jumping off the bed in our hotel room. I talked about how bungee jumping is a literal leap of faith, and how starting a new endeavor of any kind was just exactly like this, a giant leap of faith. The people who established this organization, Balance for Blind Adults, took a similar leap, and I know we are all grateful to Sue Garamage and her colleagues for seeing a gap and working hard to fill it by establishing the organization over 40 years ago. I want to thank my first board of directors, those who hired me, for taking exactly that kind of leap of faith when you did so. All new hires at any level are indeed such leaps. At the executive level, there is some additional risk. To all my board chairs and directors over the years, thank you for your consistent support and encouragement, and most especially for your dedicated passion for and commitment to balance. I am indebted to you for your excellent and challenging questions, your attention to good governance, and to detail so that we can do and be better. Thank you for believing in me. To my staff team, past and present, thank you for your incredible creativity and productivity. Thank you for trusting me to lead you. And thanks also for giving your all to our clients, and for always going above and beyond for them and for our organization. Thank you for taking a leap of faith each and every time I asked you to, and for always stepping up, for your incredible patience as we went through some growing pains. It's been one of the true pleasures of my career to work with you all. To our community, thank you for your love and support for Balance. It means the world to us that you trust us with your skills learning, counseling, and rehabilitation needs, and the fun that we provide through our groups. I hope that you will continue to join us for more exciting developments in the future, and I wish each and every one of you the very best in your journeys, wherever they may take you. And to our donors, you make so much more possible. It's difficult to describe how amazing the feeling of somebody in my position is, that I can say yes to requests for funds to pay for new devices for teaching, or yes to an important staff training or professional development opportunity, or yes to something I haven't even thought of yet. Your donations make the ability to say yes so much easier than it used to be. Thank you. To our new CEO, who is here tonight, I'm proud to pass the torch to you. I can think of no more worthy successor. Balance will be in balance will be in capable hands. Personally, I want to thank all my incredibly supportive family throughout my entire working life. My parents, who raised me to believe in social justice and equality and who were so proud of my studies and my work. My siblings, who have always encouraged and supported me. My wonderful children, who've grown up to be incredible young adults, leading the way in their own careers and living their lives on their own terms, and definitely teaching me new ways of thinking about leadership, inclusion, diversity, and so much more. My amazing husband, there with me throughout this journey and ever in my corner. I will always appreciate the opportunities I've been privileged to have throughout my career, and especially the unique one I was given to lead this amazing organization. For the trust that was placed in me to be courageous so that we could get to where we are today, to take some risks and reap the benefits, to have faith we would achieve what we needed to achieve in order to be as strong as we are today. As I start my next journey, I feel incredibly proud and deeply grateful. Thank you.
Thank you, Deborah.
Okay, Robin. I wanted to mention quickly that if people have questions, we will have a Q&A at the end of the meeting. So if they would like more comments, they can put them in the chat or in the Q&A.
And thank you, Deborah. I just, again, on behalf of the board and all the attendees and your staff, I want to thank you for hearing those remarks and your emotional reflections on your life's work and your journey. Two important themes, your social inclusion, your commitment to social inclusion of people with disabilities, and leadership, without which leadership, passion, commitment, drive, you can't really have the first. So on behalf of everyone, we want to thank you for your years of dedicated service, 44 years, supporting and working alongside people of all ages with disabilities, and especially the past 10 years with Balance. Your work and your ability to step up and step in is a model for all of us and will continue to have a lasting and tremendous impact after you leave. So congratulations on your next chapter. We will be recognizing Deborah's retirement formally. We're hosting a retirement tea, so stay tuned if you to learn more in her honor. It will be offered both in person and online, July 23rd, 2025. So until then, we thank you, Deborah, for your leadership and your dedication and for those inspiring remarks.
Thanks, Robin.
So next up on our agenda is a chair's report. And so I'm pleased to provide this year's report on behalf of the board of directors. It was a milestone year. It was the 40th anniversary of Balance, and what an amazing year it was. We took time to reflect on the legacy of Balance and the journey that got us to this year. In honor of that milestone, we had incredible generosity and financial support from donors and grantors, raising over $227,000, which was a new high watermark. And so I really want to extend, on behalf of the entire organization, our appreciation for the generosity of donors and grantors, the staff, the board, everyone who contributes to making that happen, so that we can help clients who need Balance services. I really want to acknowledge an anonymous donor whose commitment really touched us this year with a $40,000 gift in honor of the organization's 40th anniversary through the Because of Balance campaign. And that anonymous generous person also went further by pledging an annual $30,000 per year for 4 years, which gives us some stable funding that we can count on to provide services. So we're deeply grateful. We also marked our anniversary with a very memorable trivia night. I hope some of you were there. Adam Groh of Cash Cab fame hosted the evening, which brought the community together for some celebratory fun and games. And We also saw this year a sign of confidence and support from Ontario Health, with the province increasing our support by 3% in an increase in our funding. Another exciting development was our selection as a recipient of funds from the IRIDE organization, a first for Balance and a real honor. The fund, the committee, the IRIDE fund, started in 2009 under Cycle for Sight, and was established to bring sighted and blind cyclists together to raise funds for the vision loss research. But 2 years ago, IRIDE moved in a new direction, continuing to break down barriers between able-bodied and disabled athletes, raising funds and the profile for the vision loss community with a cycle ride, partnering, and another recipient were the Trailblazers Tandem Cycling Club, who were involved in that fundraising effort as well. And so Balance and Trailblazers were pleased to be the two recipients of those funds, which I believe were in approximately $40,000. So that was excellent for us to split. The board, based on that experience, created a third-party funding policy to guide how we engage with our partners. And all of those efforts and the funds led to expanding services, expanding our goals to go beyond Ontario and Toronto, so that we can serve more clients here at Balance. In addition to all the good news and a successful year, we also had a loss this past year with the passing of John Scally. His generosity of spirit and his wish to help vulnerable people shone through in his work as CFO of a number of excellent nonprofit organizations, including Balance, where he was instrumental in supporting our back office for over 5 years. John was elected to the Balance Board of Directors in September 2024. We were thrilled that he agreed to become our treasurer immediately and contribute to the board's financial oversight, which was just another indication of how much he cared about this community. And last but certainly not least, the board, with the news of Deborah announcing her retirement, focused on succession planning. As many of you know, one of the most important responsibilities of a board is the selection of a strategic leader. And this requires a thoughtful and proactive succession plan. So when Deborah announced her decision to retire, the board moved swiftly, establishing a search committee made up of members of our governance committee, along with myself. And together we undertook an extensive multi-phase process to ensure that we identified the right person to step into Deborah's shoes and lead Balance in its next chapter. So I just want to thank the search committee, which included Wayne Young, who was our governance chair and served as chair of the search committee, Alex Bulmer and Lizna Husnani Puchta, who were part of the search committee phase 1, and looked at candidates with great care and diligence. We narrowed that down to top candidates, which board members Keith Gordon and Julie conducted the second round of interviews. And the staff at Balance participated in a meet and greet session so that the candidates and the staff could get to know each other and make sure that we were finding the best candidate for the organization. So a shout out to Doug Poirier, the lead of our lead AT instructor, and Christina Lopez, program coordinator, for meeting with the candidate. So I'm just going to pause there and let you know that I'll be introducing that successful candidate later in the meeting. And I'll just end with a note in my report with huge appreciation to Deborah and the staff for all their great work. Award-winning this past year, which is a really nice external validation and recognition of the work of this, as we always say, small but mighty team who cares deeply about the community they serve. So on behalf of the board, thanks to you all. And with that, I will pause there and turn it over to our outgoing CEO for her report.
Thank you, Robin. Now it's time for me to be here again to give you my annual report for 2024-25. I will just run over a few major achievements of the year rather than reading formally. The first was a successful fundraising and awareness campaign with the Low Vision Speaker Series of last year, as well, which was a series that's delivered that we brought in 3 years ago to deliver information and talks by experts to optometrists and build awareness about balance in so doing, as well as raise sponsorships with corporations. Very successful last year. We just held our 3rd annual one this year, so also did very well there. And you mentioned the first I Ride, so I won't go there. The Because of Balance campaign raised the 40,000 contribution plus another 32,622, so over $70,000 last year through the Because of Balance campaign. And then I wanted to give a quick report also on the progress of our new home. So many of you who are here today know that we have been working from home for a couple of years now, and we are now happy to report that our co-locating project with the City of Toronto, one of their community hubs, which is being developed at the corner of Dufferin and Bloor, the Bloor-Dufferin Community Hub, is 90% complete and should be ready to move in by late spring, early summer 2026, after the developer turns the building over to the city and a tenancy lease is created. We will have access not only to an office, I know which one it is actually, and this was the former Kent School, and so the rooms are former classrooms as well. There's a community kitchen. Balance has had a significant input into the accessibility of the site, including the accessibility of the kitchen. We will be able to teach cooking there eventually and have a number of skills development classes in other rooms within the building. So we're very excited about that. Meantime, we've established a successful rental agreement with West Neighborhood House last year for office, group, and teaching spaces several times each week, and we're very grateful to them for their reasonable rents on those. We had an increase in number of grants applied for. We applied for 16 grants last year, and an expansion of the number and type of groups that we offered, everything as a result of these grants, everything from self-defense to dance, beatboxing, and actual boxing are some examples. We were very excited to return to providing the self-defense program. We had a successful renewal, 3-year renewal of our United Way Greater Toronto funding for the pre-employment program. And we were excited also to welcome Elizabeth Moeller as the new program coordinator for that program. I think around, well, spring of this year, let's say, because I can't remember the exact date that she joined us, but she's in the midst of her first training session cohort with the pre-employment program. In August, we publicly launched the remote teaching of assistive technology and the provision of remote mental health support services outside of the city of Toronto, so all over the province of Ontario. I'm very pleased to be having left Balance on the path to becoming a strong Ontario organization. And we are already seeing an increase in interest from other communities in Ontario in our programs. Robin mentioned, I don't know if you did, but the 3%, we received a 3% increase from Ontario Health to our funding. We're very happy with that to assist with compensation. And in the winter, we embarked on a job evaluation project with the goal of assessing every job at Balance, the depth and breadth of the work requirements, and to create a new excellent up-to-date salary grid. We're very pleased that this has resulted in equitable salary adjustments for members of our staff team. And we landed a new grant to support the work of the pre-employment program. So I'm excited to announce that the Enabling Change program of the Ministry of Accessibility and Seniors last year once again found us worthy and awarded us a grant to support the development of a microsite to support our pre-employment work. This is a new website resource that will be joined with our current website, but will have its own location, its own address, and it's being developed as we speak and will be found at workingblind.ca or workingblind.org, both of which we own. And the logo has been designed and is beautiful, I must say. The project is being headed up by our former PEP coordinator, now our communications strategist, Christina Peruzzi. And the site will host the 5 documentary videos that we developed in the past year about blind people at work with another grant from Enabling Change. The Working Blind video series was developed in response to requests from employment service providers and will be a resource to them and to employers And this week is the soft launch of that project. We also received a grant from a new funder for Balance called the White Earn Foundation to develop a series of videos for people starting to lose their vision, for example, with AMD or age-related macular degeneration, something my father lived with in the latter years of his life, but who can still see fairly well. With a working title of Strategies for Early Adjustment to Sight Loss, this series features ways to adapt around the home or in the community and is aimed at preparing people with early sight loss. And it was developed in response to requests from optometric patients referred to us after their doctors attended the Low Vision Speaker Series over the last few years. We mentioned the wonderful Biana Family Foundation Staff Award, and I think I will stop there. That is last year. I just wanted to mention that this year we were asked to be a recipient of the third-party funds raised by IRIDE 2025. And so far, which took place this past Saturday, and so far almost $90,000 has been raised by 69 participants. So congratulations to all involved in IRIDE 2025. Thank you, Robin.
Thank you, Deborah. That's excellent. Okay, so next up on our agenda is the Treasurer's Report, Bob Stark.
Thanks, Robin. I'm going to go through just very briefly our financial things. I think we've got lots of interesting things to talk about today, but I could spend the next hour on the financial stuff, I guess, but I won't. So we had, despite all of the things that Deborah has talked about that Balance has been involved in, we have continued to operate within our budget and with a small surplus at the end of the year. So that's very good news. As you might imagine, with the government freezing funds over the years, we've had to rely increasingly on donations. So those of you who've contributed there, it's gone to very worthy causes, as you've heard, and Balance will continue to rely on both government and donations to perform the magic that it performs. So our financial results have been audited by an independent auditor who basically gave us a thumbs up that our financial house is in order. Our plans for next year are aligned with that, so not any dramatic changes in financial our financial world. We're making incremental increases to cover increasing costs over time. We have the Balance Board, and I should have mentioned we report quarterly back to the Balance Board, so there's good oversight of our financial results. As treasurer, between the CEO and myself, we sign off on any major expenditures, so there's some independence and oversight of the day-to-day business, and get audited once a year. And our auditor, Hilborn, we're going to use again in the coming year. So financial house is in good shape. We're on solid ground. Back to you, Robin.
Thank you, Bob. And that is excellent news. It's very important for an organization of our size to feel confident about our financials. So thank you for that report. Okay, next up we have Lizna Huznani Puchta, who's going to give us the governance report.
Thank you, Robin. Good evening, everyone. Please confirm that the board slate for the 2025-2026 fiscal year has been approved by the board and its members. This includes the appointment of officers and committee members who will serve Balance in the coming year. The officers for the upcoming term are Robin Defoe as chair, Wayne Young as the vice chair, Julie as the treasurer, Ginny Duff as secretary, and Keith Gordon as the past chair. In addition to the executive committee, the board also includes Stephen Ricci, myself, Anna Jurisic, Alex Bulmer, and Jamad Adinjan. We're grateful for this group of dedicated individuals who bring a wealth of experience, insight, and a shared passion and mission. We also have several committees that are set up. The Governance and nomination committee is made up of myself, Alex, and Wayne as the chair of this committee. The Finance and Audit Committee will include Julie, Jamad, as well as Robin for an interim basis. And lastly, our Fund Development Committee is headed up by Stephen Ricci, with also members of Keith, Gordon, Ginny Duff, and Anna Jurisic. Thank you so much. I'll hand it back over to you, Robin.
Thanks very much, Lizna. Okay, and next up we have Doug Poirier, AT lead, will do the presentation of the Tom Decker Award.
Thank you, Robin. Good evening, everyone. Before I get to the Tom Decker Award, I'd just like to recognize our 4 graduates of the AT apprenticeship program. I don't know how many are here, but I'll just give their names. I'd like to say congratulations to Larissa White, Mohammed Ali, Victoria Hernandez, and Joseph Sideros. We wish them well in their journeys going forward. They were great. So thank you very much. And now on to the Tom Decker Access Technology Award. On behalf of Balance for Blind Adults, it is an honor to announce this year's recipients of the Tom Decker Access Technology Award. The award is in memory of Tom Decker, who was once an AT instructor at Balance before moving to British Columbia. Upon his passing, in collaboration between Balance and his partner, the Tom Decker Access Technology Award was created. The award is presented yearly to clients in Balance's AT program that have demonstrated motivation, dedication, and determination throughout their instruction. I am pleased to announce our first recipient, Miriam Barrios. Since beginning her AT training, Miriam has exhibited all 3 of these values, learning to use VoiceOver on both her Mac computer and iPhone, and has committed herself to fully learning both. In addition, Miriam has also been a regular participant in Balance's technology pop-up sessions and workshops. Her passion, curiosity, and willingness to keep learning have helped her grow in both independence and confidence. Congratulations, Miriam. And maybe you can just sort of hold up the certificate, and we'll get that to you, Miriam. So once again, congratulations, Miriam. I'd like to now call upon my colleague, Wendy Ho Lee, who will announce our second recipient.
Thank you, Doug. So I would like to announce our second, on behalf of Balance for Blind Adults, I'm honored to announce this year's second Tom Decker Award of recipients, Miss Helena Maria Henriquez. Helena's journey with assistive technology has been truly inspiring. When she first began, she felt overwhelmed by the amount she needed to learn. But with unwavering determination, she pushed through and mastered tools like Zoom magnification, Speak It tool, Google Docs, Seeing AI, and much more, using them to support her independent living. She's known for her signature phrase, "Don't tell me," a reflection of her strong desire to figure things out on her own. Her dedication, resilience, and strive to meet every challenges have been nothing short of remarkable. Helena, we are so proud of you. Congratulations on the well-deserved recognition. Congratulations, Helena.
It's Deborah. I'll just come off mute for a moment to say congratulations to both Miriam and Helena. Excellent work, and to all 4 of our apprentices as well for your graduation accomplishments in the past year. Thank you.
Hey,
So congratulations to
Congratulations.
our participants, and I guess we turn it back over to Robin.
thank you, Doug. Thank you, Doug and Wendy. And again, congratulations, Miriam and Helena. I'm now pleased to call on Anita Lornitas, who's the volunteer coordinator and presenting the Volunteer of the Year Award.
Thank you, Robin.
Welcome.
At Balance for Blind Adults, we are fortunate to have an incredible team of volunteers who generously give their time and talents to support our work. Each of them plays a vital role in helping us serve our community, and their contributions do not go unnoticed. Last year, we introduced the Volunteer of the Year Award to recognize and celebrate a volunteer whose service has been truly outstanding. This year, we are proud to present the award to someone who has demonstrated exceptional dedication and commitment to serving our community. Mayurka Sivham-Paranathan. Mayurka began volunteering with Balance in 2021, joining our telephone check-in call team during the pandemic, speaking to isolated clients, and providing a much-needed service during a very difficult time. At the very beginning, she has proven to be an indispensable part of our team, always willing to lend a hand wherever needed. Mayurka has taken on a variety of roles, such as life skills volunteer, joining our outcomes measurement team, serving as a newsletter reader, and making regular well-being calls to some of our most vulnerable clients. Over the years, Mayurka has contributed over 100 volunteer hours and had more than 200 interactions with clients. What an incredible impact. But what stands out the most is her kindness, flexibility, and how dependable she's been in every role she's taken on. Mayurka, thank you so much for all the ways you've supported Balance and our clients. It is our greatest pleasure to recognize you as this year's Volunteer of the Year.
Okay.
Robin, it's Deborah. I was just texting with the staff. We're going to allow everyone to talk during the Q&A. Just shifted that because we know there are some people who might want to say thank you, and it might be easier and save time to do it that way rather than having people come off mute in the moment.
Okay. Okay. Thanks, Deborah. Well, I'll thank Anita for presenting that, and congratulations, Majorca. What an amazing giving back to the community, an amazing contribution that you've made with all your volunteer work. So next up on the agenda is a thank you to our retiring director, Bob Stark. And I will just say that it is with very mixed feelings that I extend the appreciation from the entire board and staff at Balance to Bob for his contributions at Balance and for his work as a tireless advocate for people with disabilities. Bob brought to Balance the depth and integrity of a long distinguished career in the Ontario Public Service. I didn't know him directly then, but we're co-OPSers. His steady leadership, we've all recognized that, is a guiding force, his calm, steady hand, both on our board and he's known at large in the disability community. As a board member, and especially during his 2 years as chair, his calm and strategic and inclusive leadership set a benchmark for other chairs to come, including myself. And beyond the boardroom, he has long demonstrated his commitment to creating a more equitable society for people with disabilities. He and his wife, Joan, have built a full and inclusive life with their daughter, Lindsay, a personal journey that speaks volumes about the values that Bob brought to Balance. We've been incredibly fortunate to have him on our board since 2016. And under his leadership as chair, Balance matured in its role as a client-centered service provider and a strengthened strategic direction. He played a key role in helping the board evolve to a stronger advisory board to the CEO and staff, contributing to as Deborah mentioned earlier, bringing on additional board members and advancing our mission and organizational stability. On a personal note, Bob, I sincerely thank you for being a tremendous support and a mentor. I've learned a great deal from you, your wisdom, as I said, your statesman-like professionalism, and your belief in the dignity and potential of every individual. So while we'll miss your voice around the table, your influence will carry on. So on behalf of the board, Deborah, staff, clients, the entire Balance community, our deepest gratitude. We will miss you, Bob.
Well, thank you. It's been a privilege.
You're very welcome. You're going to keep it short. You're welcome to say more. Okay.
Well, I mean, as any of you who know Lindsay know that for us, balance was a lifeline for her. I mean, she lost her sight suddenly, unexpectedly. She's cognitively disabled as well, and balance was the organization who could kind of guide her through life and give her the confidence to carry on. And so, you know, all my thanks go to balance. I'm glad I was able to contribute through the period I was on the board, and I wish everybody the best success going forward. You're in good hands.
Thank you, Bob.
Thank you.
Okay, my next up on the agenda, it's my great pleasure to talk about who's going to lead this organization in the next chapter. So after a very thorough and thoughtful process that I described earlier, I'm very pleased to announce Michelle McQuigg as the next CEO for Balance for Blind Adults. Is she? There she is. There she is. Welcome, Michelle. She's on
Thank you so
screen.
much, Robin.
I know that Michelle is no stranger to most of you. She brings over a decade of experience with Balance as a board director, leading multiple committees and serving 2 years as chair. She played a direct role in the organization's growth as a forward-looking and client-focused service organization. Her lived experience as a blind woman brings insights into the needs of clients and the broader sight loss community. And she's a seasoned journalist and newsroom leader with nearly 20 years at the Canadian Press. She's led national and diverse teams, managed complex projects, and driven change under pressure. She currently oversees 11 journalists nationwide as the weekends and special projects manager. Can't believe how tough that job must be. Michelle has exceptional communications and crisis management skills thanks to that role, I'm sure, and others. She's a champion. She has championed diversity, equity, and inclusion, spearheading initiatives that support inclusive practices in that organization. And her combined experience, her combined expertise, lived experience, and strategic vision make her the ideal person to take the reins from Deborah at this pivotal moment. And we're confident she will build on the strong foundation that Deborah has laid and continue to move Balance forward in the next chapter. I'm thrilled to welcome you, Michelle, as our next CEO.
Thank you so much, Robin. Thank
Over
you
to
so
you.
much. Okay. Well, thank you for that incredibly kind and glowing introduction. It's very kind and generous of you. And I wanted to thank not only you, but the whole board for your vote of confidence in naming me to this role, because it is a very, very exciting challenge that I really cannot wait to take on in so many ways. I also wanted, to, if I may, to extend my thanks also to Bob Stark for his time on the board. It was a pleasure to serve alongside you, and I'm really grateful for the role that you played in leaving Balance in the shape that it's in when I take over. But I really want to focus on Dr. Deborah Gold at this moment and to say thank you so much, Deborah, for everything you've done. The speech you gave today gave us all a bit of a sense of how much impact you've had on people with disabilities and Balance specifically. But as someone who's had the chance to work alongside you for 10 years and witness directly the kind of transformative change you've brought to Balance, bringing donations from 100% of government dependence down to 70%, the massive expansion of programs, the exciting new headquarters, all of these things are signs of an organization that's robust and healthy and already doing good. You get all the credit for bringing things to this place without ever losing sight of why we're here, which is to serve the clients. So thank you very much for that and leaving me with such a fabulous organization to take over and big shoes to fill, but a lot of really exciting challenges.
Thank you,
Um,
Michelle, as I ride off on my new e-bike into the sunset
well
around the city.
deserved.
I will be thinking I will be thinking about those kind words. Thanks so much.
My pleasure. I'll be pretty quick. I just want to acknowledge that this is definitely a large career pivot for me coming from journalism into the not-for-profit space, but it's one that I feel very motivated and excited to take on. And I want to acknowledge the honor of being the first blind person tasked with taking the helm of this organization. I recognize the responsibility that comes with that, especially at a time when disconcertingly close to home, I'm afraid, we are starting to see barriers re-erected that we thought we might have torn down, and access to services and political buy-in is harder to come by than it has been for quite some time. So this is the moment when we all need to step up, and I'm very excited to be positioned to take on these challenges, draw on my lived experience as a blind woman, as well as the insights into the disability community that I gained through my reporting time to do two things: make Balance or keep Balance as a best-in-class direct service provider for clients. That is why we are here, but also to become a trusted and collaborative advocate for systemic change for those clients. So this is what I'm hoping very much to accomplish with Balance. I have a lot to learn to make that happen. So as such, I'm very keen to learn from all of you. My door will be open, literal once we have a new headquarters, and figurative for now. I'm really looking forward to getting to know everyone in this community. And I want to thank you all for your support and say I can't wait to get started and meet everybody.
Wonderful. Thank you, Michelle, and welcome aboard. We'll be seeing you, I think the official start date, July.
July 21st.
Thank you. I
So
was going to say that, but I was,
yeah, no.
too
So
many dates in my head.
hope to meet many of you at Deborah's retirement tea that was mentioned earlier. So
Okay, well, with that, I will close the meeting. It's been a very informative and inspiring evening. As some of you have been touching on in this world of uncertainty and concern out there, to hear all of your appreciation, the feedback from clients is what we live for. It's really good to know that all the work, I know the team will appreciate hearing your appreciation. So thank you for joining the meeting. Thank you for your feedback. Big thanks to Deborah, of course, her last annual public meeting, and all the work she's done over the last decade to bring us to this point and this kind of feedback. It really is different than my first meeting about 10 years ago. Welcome to Michelle. Of course, we're looking forward to working with her, and I know you've heard her. She's definitely going to take the baton from Deborah. That's what she's looking to do, and it's wonderful to hear someone who appreciates that they're going to build on the past good work. Big farewell to Bob again, and with that, have a wonderful summer. And if we don't see you at the retirement tea, either virtually or in person. So we're looking forward to another opportunity to appreciate Deborah. Okay.